Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Statesman.com and the Week 7 edition of the High School Blitz. I'm Tony Atkins here with Rick Cantu and Danny Davis. Guys, we have 4 games we want to talk about today. We'll start out at Regents. They're 4-1. They'll take on 2-2 Hyde Park. Both teams are coming off of big wins, but who do you think gets the win this week?
I'm going to go with Hyde Park. Hyde Park won this matchup twice actually last year, once in the regular season and once in the playoffs. Hyde Park's only 2-2, but you look at those 2 losses: St. Michael's, which is a bigger private school, and Rogers, which is a public school. Seth DeVries, he leads that rushing attack. Hyde Park, that's all they do is run the ball. They do not throw the ball very often. And Patrick Burns and Andrew Burry, they both have 100-yard games this season. So I think that potent running attack, I think that's just going to be a little bit too much for Regents to handle, but Regents has a couple good players on their team too.
They do have a couple good players, and they got that revenge factor that you were talking about, them beating them twice last year. I'm going with Regents. Awfully good defense. They only gave up 138 total yards, period, to Victoria St. Joseph last week, and a big victory for them. Hyde Park, they do average 25 points a game, so it's going to be somebody's got to come and take it. I'm just taking Regents. Before those 2 games, Regents had the big winning streak against Hyde Park, and I think that they're eager to get that thing going again.
And Hyde Park, if they want to win this game, probably shouldn't kick the ball off to Will Zudek. 3 return touchdowns for Regents this year. That's a pretty impressive.
4 after this weekend.
Oh, wow. Yeah, looks like something's
got to give.
Something's got to give. Now we head over to Nelson Field. McCallum, 2-3. They're hosted by 4-1 LBJ. LBJ is looking really good this year. Do you think that continues against McCallum?
I personally think so. First of all, I think LBJ has one of my favorite players, DeAndre Witaski. I hope I said his name right. All he does was average 18 yards every time he rushes with the football, and he averages 19 yards every time he catches the football. Now, McCallum has just been too much of a one-man team, if you ask me, so far this year. Clement Jones has had a sensational year with 14 rushing touchdowns. I think just let LBJ has it on the offense and on the defense, too. I'm taking LBJ.
Yeah. I'm going with the Jaguars, too. I think last week we talked that maybe the tide had shifted in 26-5, and LBJ was kind of looking like the favorites. McCallum's won this district the last 2 years, but LBJ's defense, 14.6 points per game allowed per season. They're going to be tested this week because Clement Jones has had a great year. Sabian Cannon's back at the quarterback position for them now, and Terrence Mitchell has been pretty impressive in the backfield for McCallum too. But I think that defense led by Johnny Williams, I think they make a statement this week, and I think the Jaguars are going to be standing on top of the district standings this week. Crockett's probably going to be joining them too, but I think they're going to knock off the Knights.
Yeah. Speaking of standing atop of rankings, we head over to Gulfton Stadium. We have 2 really good teams. 4-1 Vandergrift taking on undefeated Vista Ridge. They both, I believe, got really big wins last week, and they clash against one another this week. Who do you see winning that game?
I'm just done picking against Vista Ridge, so I'm going with the Rangers. I think this is going to be the Jamie Hudson versus Matthew Snow show. Matthew Snow, the quarterback for Vista Ridge, has 9 touchdowns over his last 2 district games. The defense is playing well. DeQuan Patton, keep an eye out for him. He has an offensive touchdown, a defensive touchdown, and a special teams touchdown this year. That's a pretty nice hat trick, and Vandergrift can score, but I just think that Vista Ridge is going to get the win this week.
Normally I would pick Vista Ridge. They're undefeated. I like undefeated teams. Vandergrift, though, has Jamie Hudson. Talking about quarterbacks, 17 touchdown passes this year, no interceptions. If there is an X factor, and he doesn't deserve to be called an X factor because he's been there all year, Travis Brannon is only a couple yards short of 1,000 yards rushing already this year. So I think the 1-2 combination of Hudson and Brannon gets it done for Vandergrift. A very high-scoring game.
Oh, yeah, I can see that myself. Now we head over to Mustang Stadium. Maynard takes on Elgin. What happens here?
I think it's just a little bit too much Kyle Snell. I mean, the Elgin quarterback has been very good this year. About 280 yards, I believe he had, throwing and passing this past weekend. Jamal Collins has been a good quarterback. Steady sometimes, not so steady the rest. I just think that Elgin just has more players. But I'll give Maynard credit. They went into a tough Temple place and held their own against a good Wildcat team last weekend, but I'm going with Elgin.
And that's actually why I'm going to go with Manor. I think Manor's defense has played really well this year. 28 points allowed last week against Temple. They gave up 30 to San Antonio Brennan, and you think 28 and 30, that's not that impressive. But when you look at what Temple and Brennan have done in their other games, it's actually pretty good. Temple's averaging, they held Temple to 20 points below their season point total last week, so I think that's pretty good. Eric Fowler might be the best defensive player in the area. Patrick Sneed's coming off a weekend with she had 2 interceptions. Maynard's going to have to play better offensively. Jamal Collins was a little banged up last week, so we'll see if he can get healthy this week and continue to develop as their quarterback. He actually came in about halfway through their season and took over that job. So if the offense can play a little bit better and the defense can continue to do what it's been doing this year, I think the Mustangs get their second district win.
All right, guys, those are our picks for this week. Keep checking back in at statesman.com and the High School Blitz for results and more.